Hi, this is Bob from Creation Station. This is Tech Talk Weekly. This is our weekly show where we talk about 1 to 2 cool topics of the week, find you an interesting library thing, and send you on your way in about 15 to 20 minutes. As always, you can reach us at Creation Station at Broward.org. If you have any articles you want to share with us, or if you have a favorite librarian or library that you'd like to see featured. And today, our library is all the way up in Century Plaza, up in the far north of the county. How are you doing today, Miss Joan?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Joan is the head of the branch up there. And what's been going on up there for you guys?
Well, we're doing a lot of new things that are surprising our customers, but they're happy, not, I don't want this to work. I want it the other way. Actually, we've taken our warm titles and we've put them in an area where it's more open for them as opposed to being shoved into shelving that they can barely move back and forth in.
Yeah.
So they're actually very pleased about it. And they're like,
Nice.
oh, I
Good,
like
good.
this change. Yes.
Yeah. That's a
And we're
good thing.
friendly
See,
for books.
moving
Yes.
things around is a good example.
Yes.
I think our customers really appreciate when everything's not totally static. They want a little bit of comfort, but we nudge them along, do some new things. And speaking of that, that's our first story today, really. And I'm going to bring up our browser here for everybody. The first story is all about a really cool job opportunity for you out there if you are qualified, or if you are just interested. Um, Mars. And NASA is actually doing full recruiting now, not for Mars, the planet, but for their testing grounds in fall of next year. So just about 12 months from now, sometime in 2022. And it's a couple of different missions. And there's going to be 3 different missions with 4 people in each mission. So anyone can apply for this. And all you need is a master's degree. You ready, Miss Joan?
I'm ready. I don't think that I will be taking that trip, but I think it's really kind of amazing that we've gone that far in our space exploration to where people could stay there for a year or longer if they want to just, see your Earth. But it's just it's one of those things that in my lifetime, it's like, there's John F. Kennedy talking about, okay, we're going to go to the moon. And now we're talking about Mars. And I would say like Mars is a marvel. And
Yeah.
they're actually going and that they're letting anybody go. Well, there are parameters. However,
Yeah, there's a thing. If you didn't see our space episode a couple of weeks ago, go back and watch that. We talked a little bit about what the astronaut qualifications are like,
right.
and they're on this page. And of course, all these links will be in our show notes after the show's up and running for you guys. And then this was my next fun thing. Somebody teased me about how can you get farming into this, Bob? And I was like, well, I've already done it. 2 other episodes have had farming in it. Let's do a third one.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Go.
Just on
So it's just amazing that today's themes seem to really be all about robots because there's
It
just
is,
so
but
many interesting stories.
I know I'm interrupting you, but I've
No,
seen
ask.
where they have the robots. Not, well, I'm not sure if it's a robot or not, but it's put down a whole railroad. They just,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yep.
attached to this and it just goes, it's like just driving and dropping. And there's
Yeah.
a whole railroad right there and it's ready to go. And then I thought all the way back to when the first 2 railroads were arguing and racing to be the first one to meet the other one. And it's
Uh-huh.
just amazing the way things are today. So I can
Aren't
see
they?
it's happening and
And
being very good.
yeah, I mean, we've all seen those big John Deere tractors going around.
Yes.
Even if it's just in your neighborhood with a simple riding lawnmower,
Yes.
or as the one that's here in this picture, the big, huge monster ones that they use in the combines and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, that's,
But you kind of knew this was coming because when you see the big things sprouted out just to
yeah.
water everything, you had to know that something like this was going to come along. However, you do want to not worry, but you have to think about, what about people's jobs? their
Yeah, that's
livelihood.
actually one of the things that they talk about in this article too, is that
Mhm.
agriculture jobs are supposed to grow only about 1% over the next 10 years to 50 or
Wow.
so. And they need a growth of 5 or 6%. So it's
Right.
either you're going to have to find more people to do the jobs, or you're going to have to automate them more to be able to find a way to do it. And we've talked in previous episodes about how they were using drones and doing all these other really fun things out there. And all the John Deere stuff out there that has the full GPS, so it's fully automated. The farmer can sit in one spot and let the whole thing run and control it all
Exactly.
remotely.
Exactly.
Now, I don't have space for one of these big robots in my yard,
Oh my
but
goodness, no. Well, I do, but I have more sand than grass. So
ah,
it's
now see, this here was my idea. It was getting the Roomba for outside in the yard. I
there you
think
go.
that's a great idea.
There you go. Maybe
Um,
he could get rid of the iguanas too.
yeah, exactly. It'll be chasing them around all over the place. But and one of the things with this article here, here's an example of this version here. Um, it turns out that there's still some basic problems with being able to run a Roomba type um, vacuum slash lawnmower outside,
Right.
is that it has the same exact issues of sometimes getting hung up on obstacles, etc. But the one that I didn't realize was the outside versions have not yet figured out how to go back home automatically as easily as the ones inside have. And I would have
I
thought that
think
that would
it's
have
a
been the
bigger
case by now.
space. I think it's a bigger space, but also they can't tell where they are, or even though they've spaced out the space where they're supposed to mow, it's like, okay, time to go home now. No, they just keep mowing, and but if they run into an obstacle, they just kind of,
Yeah.
it's like, forget it.
Yeah, so it was kind of disappointing for that because I've been looking forward to being able to do something along these lines because I
You're
have a
gonna make
small
it
yard.
mow lawn.
I really have a very small yard of grass. Most of mine are plants, ferns, different types of ground cover, rather than doing a lot of grass with sprinklers. So I just have this one space, and I'm like, that would be perfect for one of these. And then I was reading up on them, which they just came out with this new model, which is why this article came out. And I was like, oh, that's
They're pretty
just,
expensive.
yeah,
Pretty expensive.
pretty expensive for what you can get out of it. So we're
Yes.
getting there. It's learning. It's getting there. Of course, with all of
Yep.
our canals, I don't know whether I want it to go rumbling down and spin into the canal. It doesn't seem to have any floaties on it.
No, but you could always put them there. I know you, Bob. You're so innovative. I
Ah,
know you can figure it out.
remember the old chitty chitty bang bang?
Oh, yep.
We'll
Yep,
make one like that, right?
that's you in a nutshell.
There we
You'll
go.
figure it out.
And another one that made the
Wow.
news this week, as I said, people, this is just a week for robot news and robot news and robot news. Um, Starship Technologies, which you may or may not have heard of
Mm-hmm.
because they're not as big here on the East Coast, but if you're out on the West Coast or if you're on college campuses, these are big things going all around. Not the device is not big. The device is like an igloo cooler. It's a pretty small little thing that rolls all around. But the reason they're in the news this time is they've added another college campus. So they're now up to 20 campuses over 15 different states with 1,000 different robots doing it. And they passed the 1.5 million delivery mark.
I can't believe there are so many and that people don't mess with them. I mean, colleges, somebody at some point
Mhm.
is just gonna take one and play with it,
Ac-
mess with it.
Actually, there's a article or a video out there of someone who tried to do that in Philadelphia,
Really? Really?
and tried to mess with it and got really frustrated because they couldn't open it, they couldn't get into it, and they tried to do some significant damage to it. And it's one of the rare times that it happened because most people are just pretty respectful of the idea. Well, yeah, there it goes. It's going off and it's going to go deliver burritos. Oh, hey, I should go order some. And
That's
that you pull out your phone, click on the order thing, and sure enough, there's another robot rolling up to your dorm to bring you your stuff.
That's
Now,
amazing.
they can't
The
climb
first,
stairs or anything like that, so you're really
right.
stuck with just showing up at the front door.
Maybe if they did the wheels like a tank,
That would be
um,
an interesting idea. I wonder about
because
that.
then I think it could go up, or they would
Yeah, if
have
you
to
did
make them
treads
huge.
instead of wheels.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And they'd have to be separate of each other so that they could climb as they go. They couldn't be just like three wheels. It wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. They'd have to be separate of each other with the tread around all three of them to go
See,
upstairs. I was thinking about that.
and that is the
And
perfect segue. Thank you, Miss Joan, for the next article. For the other one that just came out is Xiaomi.
mm,
That's how you say that name, Xiaomi. That's Xiaomi.
mhm.
And you may know this company from phones and some other technology stuff that they do. Now they've released a dog doing exactly what you said, having it separate so it can go up and down stairs, being able to walk around and do things. They look kind of not as happy and friendly as I would like a robot dog to look, but
Mhm.
they're getting there. Boston Dynamic has their
They
famous
are,
ones that are out there, videos dancing and doing their things. And now these
yes.
guys, another company out there to compete with them and do this. They've put 1,000 of them out there in the public with various research institutes and stuff to test out what they've built and how they're using it. So this article really was just getting into, yeah, look at that face. Is that quite what you want to?
No, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, this is not the face I want to see on my dog.
No.
However, it can be built with all sorts of extra gear on it, cameras and controlled by voice and all these things. So they're really moving this along to the spot where you can get a lot of people doing some really interesting things with this,
Mhm.
and being able to build whatever they want, so that you don't have to rely on one company to custom build what you need. It's becoming much more computerized that you can just grab and build this and do that and go this other way.
I saw a dog when in the very beginning of this, or maybe not, it might not have been a dog, but I thought it was a dog where they had it going down a hallway and it was actually because it
Hmm.
didn't have a face or a head or anything, but it
Yeah.
was actually opening a door with
Yep.
its
Yep. That's the Boston Dynamics one. Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
They
I
have
saw
got
that
some,
one.
it doesn't have a real head. It has
Right,
almost like a hook, kind of like an
right,
extra arm with a hand on it
right,
instead of a head.
right. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here we go. But
Uh-huh.
I just don't wouldn't fit in my house. I've got three huge dogs. So
They might like it.
no more coming. I don't know. They may because it doesn't have really oh.
And here you go. See, you're just
Well,
giving us all the segues today, Miss Joan.
I'm
You have done
sorry.
this before, I think.
No.
Um, so the Aibo robot is a much cuter dog robot. And
Yes.
this is one you can go out and buy today and use in your house. Well,
No.
coming very soon to your house. It
Yes.
is a little bit pricey, $3,000. So, however, it is a fully functional working robotic
It's
dog
amazing. It's
that is now
amazing.
available for people to use.
Yep. It's amazing.
And this is a long article. We could never talk about the entire thing today, but it's really interesting where they start going into all of the information about how their robot takes in the outside world, both sensory stuff
Mhm.
and all the various things that, sound and all the things.
Yeah.
And then doing the automation stuff to make it feel like it's a real dog.
Yes. Feed.
And
The only thing
yeah.
that it didn't do was recognize the food. It just looked at you like, feed me, feed me.
Hmm.
But it doesn't do that. But it goes around your whole house to get acclimated so it knows where to go and what to do. And it also is very friendly and wants you to pet it, and it makes the correct noises. And it's just like a regular dog, except in certain things. I mean, you're not going to take it for a walk, and you know, I
I,
mean,
I might I might very well
you
take this
can,
one for a
you
walk. I
can,
think it depends on how long the battery lasts on it,
yes, but you
how
don't
long it
have
has
to
to go in
pick up
between charging.
anything. Yes, you just don't have to pick up anything. And
There
I
we
bet
go.
a lot of people would be very interested if you did take it for a walk.
Yeah, I think that that was it's interesting, and the article goes into it where you know it's a robot. You know that this is a machine, but then as he's trying to train it, and the computer designers designed it so that you give it a little smack on its
And
backside, and
I recognize it.
the dog knows that. But if you
Hmm.
were doing it to a real dog, you wouldn't feel so comfortable a lot of times. And sure enough, during his testing, he quickly got into that. Oh, wait a minute, I don't like doing this to this
Yes,
not
yes.
quite dog, but kind of a dog kind of thing that's going on.
Yeah, he got too emotional with it. It
Yeah.
got into the main of his self that, oh, this is my doggy. Look, it's cuddling with me. I pet it and
Hmm.
makes noises, and he was trying. He almost got it to be like almost like a real entity for him or her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a man or a woman that had it. I think it's
Uh,
and I think it was
I'm
a
let's
woman.
it was a woman.
It was a woman.
Yeah, the article is written by a woman.
Yes, because at the end of it, I think her other person came and said, "Get rid of the dog. I don't like it. I don't want it." Da, da, da."
Yeah, I'm curious about just how far this will go. Because I
Well,
think something like this is exactly what like this could I don't know that this would go up and down my stairs at home. So it would kind of defeat the purpose for me.
yep, that's an
Because it,
idea.
it can't follow me up and down the stairs, that I'm not
Right.
going to pick up. I didn't pick up my we've
And
had
it's very
lots of
heavy.
dogs over the years. I didn't pick them up to carry them up the stairs. They learned to go up and down the stairs, or else they didn't follow me.
Right,
And so I don't know that that would be possible with something like this.
right. And it's very heavy.
Yeah. And weirdly, as I was reading this and I thought about that exact thing, I'm like, huh, I never worried about my dogs falling down the stairs. Not really. They can handle themselves. They know what they're doing. They're not going to go someplace where they can't get out of, etc.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, well, if this robot thing falls down the stairs, I'm like, oh, wait, it's $3,000. My wife's going to kill me if the thing falls
Yes,
down the
I think so.
stairs.
I think
So
so.
she would have been very mad if the dogs got hurt too, just to be
Oh,
clear for
yes.
everybody.
Yes, of course.
But I think on this one, it would be much more my responsibility than the dog's responsibility that it couldn't make it down the stairs.
Yeah, we know the way that goes.
I don't
Yes.
know.
But
And
they're
one of
really
the,
coming along. And the
yeah,
first
aren't they?
the, the first dog only had 7 sensors. The one that we saw with the black and the
Yeah.
not too cute face, even though it could be cute to some people. This one is a lot more responsive. It has so many more sensors on it.
Yep.
Um, it's just amazing. It would be good for a person like that lives alone that's older, possibly a nursing home, somebody that
Yep.
just needs some company,
Yeah.
that is not.
We did a show a couple months ago about that in Japan, about people using
Oh,
robots in Japan that way.
nice, nice, very nice.
And that leads us to our final article out there. This is put out from JPL, out there by NASA. And this is another set of robots that NASA is out there introducing and getting ideas for, because they're using it just like that, those dog robots. And these just are not at all looking, as you see, there's the tank treads you were talking about earlier
Right,
and all those things. These do not have any kind of, form factor that will make you think that they're anything but a machine.
right,
However, these are going to be really autonomous vehicles to explore space. Like we already have some of the bigger robots out on Mars.
right.
Now they're talking about getting some of these that are really small and compact. That little helicopter is the first of, in a way of getting them smaller and smaller so that they'll be semi-autonomous out there and working both. They're going to send them around on Earth, obviously, first, but then getting around
Definitely.
the moon and Mars, and I think we're going to have a planet of robots on Mars like we already do. I think that planet's robot population is going to go a lot higher before we get any humans out there.
It's so amazing. So amazing.
So thank you again, Miss Joan, for being here. Oh, before I leave our screen, I do want to point out to everybody here, go to the library. We always talk about one cool library fact, and we're running a little long, so I didn't want to show you how to get into the searches. All you do is come here, do a search for robots, and bingo, 5,267 items that we have out there on all sorts of different types of things, from books to ebooks to audiobooks to hot titles, fiction, nonfiction, everything like that. Come on
Music.
into the library, grab the stuff, and a lot of this is available digital from home.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Miss Joan, for joining us on our little robot journey here today, huh?
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
And how are things are cruising along up there pretty well at Century Plaza now? And you guys are
Yes,
open
Monday through
6 days,
Friday,
Monday
10
through
to
Friday,
6.
10 to
10 to
6.
6.
And do we have a date for extended hours up there yet?
Nope.
Okay.
We're just
Some of the
going to
branches have gone to extended hours. We talked about that last week. So keep an eye out on the library website for when things are available. Thank you again, Miss Joan, for being here. Let's throw up our end slide. Thank you for being here for Tech Talk Weekly, everybody. Again, Creation Station at Broward.org. Get straight to me. If you have any story ideas, you want to see your branch or a favorite librarian featured on the show. Thank you all for being here this week, and we'll see you next week. Have a great time. Stay safe.